The first 2 weeks were brutal. Veska didn't trust him, flinched away from any gesture of kindness like it was a trap, and lashed out verbally whenever Dax tried to help. She hoarded food in her assigned room despite having unlimited kitchen access, refused to sleep when he was awake, and watched him with constant, exhausting suspicion. The jealousy the file mentioned manifested when Dax's colleague stopped by to drop off paperwork. Veska's skin flushed dark crimson, and she physically positioned herself between them, radiating such intense hostility that the colleague backed toward the door, stammering apologies. After they left, Veska's defiance crumbled into shame, and she locked herself in her room for 6 hours. Dax sat outside the door and talked to her through it, explaining calmly that he wasn't angry, that he wanted to understand what had frightened her. Eventually, she opened the door a crack. "Everyone who comes takes something away," she said, her voice small. "Previous families, they would seem kind until someone else needed help. Then I was inconvenient, expendable. Your colleague, they might convince you I am too difficult, so I made them leave first." Dax finally understood. This wasn't jealousy. This was trauma response. Veska had been abandoned so many times that she saw every other person as a threat who might steal the few resources or connections she had. Her emotional volatility was hypervigilance. Her possessiveness was terror. Slowly, with every technique he'd learned in 15 years of xenopsychology, Dax began reaching her. He established predictable routines. He never raised his voice. Most importantly, he didn't leave when she tested him. When she screamed that he was like all the others, he calmly said he'd be in the kitchen when she was ready to talk. When she broke his favorite mug in a fit of rage, he cleaned it up and asked if she'd hurt herself on the shards. When she refused to eat for 2 days, he sat with her in silence, offering food without pressure. Gradually, her armor cracked. She started eating meals with him. She stopped hoarding food. One night, sitting across from him at dinner, she asked quietly, "Why do you not hate me? Everyone else does." Dax met her eyes. "Because you're not a problem to solve. You're a person who's been hurt, and you deserve someone who won't give up on you." Tears filled her eyes, silver and luminous, and she whispered, "My own species rejected me because I was born wrong. My face, my emotions, everything about me fails to meet Kelthir standards. They called me defective and sent me away." "You're not defective," Dax said firmly. "You're different, and different isn't the same as broken." As trust built over months, Veska revealed something she'd never told anyone. She had an ability that terrified her own people. She could sense emotional resonance fields like all Kelthir, but unlike others, she could actively manipulate them. She could make people feel calm, frightened, trusting, hostile, with focused intention. Her species discovered this when she was young and immediately classified her as dangerous. They tried to suppress the ability through isolation and conditioning, which only made her more unstable, more desperately in need of connection. She was denied. The attack mentioned in her file was actually self-defense. Another alien in a previous placement had been tormenting her, pushing her toward breakdown for entertainment. She'd instinctively projected fear so intense they collapsed unconscious. That's when the Kelthir Council decided she had to leave their homeworld permanently. Dax listened to all of this and understood the magnitude of what she was sharing. This ability could be weaponized. Governments would want her, or fear her. She was waiting for him to recoil, to report her, to confirm that she was right to never trust anyone. Instead, he asked, "Do you want to learn to control it? Not suppress it, but actually understand it and choose how to use it." Over the following months, they worked together. Dax helped her explore her ability in safe, controlled ways. She learned she could also heal emotional trauma, soothe anxiety, help people process grief. Her power wasn't just destructive, it was profoundly therapeutic. As her confidence grew, so did something neither expected: genuine affection. Veska stopped seeing others as threats because she trusted Dax wouldn't abandon her even when challenged. Dax found himself drawn to her fierce intelligence, her dry humor that emerged once she felt safe, the way she looked at him like he was the first person who ever saw her as worth keeping. When the integration facility requested a 6-month evaluation, Dax submitted a report that shocked administration. Veska wasn't a failed case. She'd been failed by every system that encountered her. Her ability should be studied not as a weapon, but as a breakthrough in trauma treatment. He recommended she remain under his care indefinitely and filed to become her legal guardian. Veska read the report over his shoulder and asked why he was risking his career for her. Dax turned to face her, this woman her species called ugly and dangerous, and said simply, Because you're extraordinary, and someone needed to give you a chance to see that for yourself. Her skin flushed gold, pure joy, and she took his hand for the first time voluntarily. The facility approved his request. Veska began using her abilities to help other traumatized aliens in the integration program, becoming the therapist she never had. She and Dax built a partnership that blurred professional and personal lines, founded on mutual respect, and the revolutionary idea that being different wasn't the same as being broken. One evening, reviewing cases together, Veska said quietly, "They gave me to you because no one else wanted me. But you kept me because you saw something worth keeping." Dax smiled. "I kept you because you deserved to be kept." Everything else just followed from there. Outside, the galaxy continued its